Unrivaled League needs Caitlin Clark, and they are preparing to offer her a massive deal.
Since ESPN recently revealed another huge bombshell regarding Caitlin Clark's unmatched offer, the WNBA is currently in full-blown panic mode. To be honest, the WNBA was expecting this. What did Caitlin Clark receive in exchange for being the lone bright spot that has been propelling the WNBA to new heights? Oh, a whole slew of physical and racial harassment, plus a ridiculous $75,000 raise, all while she's earning millions for the league. When she performs, venues are forced to relocate, and she receives an annual salary of about $75,000. Given the sheer volume of players she is bringing in, she ought to be among the highest paid in the world. However, the unmatched are aware of the worth of a true star. They're not. Merely providing her with a secure environment where she would be honored, but in reality, they are compensating her for refraining from any more hurtful taunts or disparaging remarks regarding the color of her skin. And wait till you hear how much money they're spending on Caitlin's time for just 3 months. It's worth every penny, I promise. So let me tell you the specifics. Additionally, it has been rumored that Caitlin Clark was promised a salary above $1 million in substantial league equity by an unmatched 3-on-3 league. ESPN then made a shocking disclosure that completely revealed the scenario. For just 3 months, Caitlin has received an incredible $1 million offer from Unrivaled, a big international league. That isn't a seasonal wage. All they're asking her to do is play for 3 months, which is over 15 times what the WNBA was paying her for the full year. It's as if Unrivaled simply showed up and declared, hey, we really do see talent and we're willing to pay for it. In the meantime, the WNBA continues to act as though she is a rookie on trial. It's not just about the money either. Offering the complete VIP experience is unmatched. We're discussing first-rate facilities, top-notch medical staff, and an extensive support network. They are essentially saying, hey, we've got your back by extending a red carpet that the WNBA was unaware existed. The WNBA was busy allowing her to be abused with no assistance. This leads me to something else I've been considering, and many of us have realized that the WNBA is more than just a game. She turned the WNBA into a gold mine while operating as a one-woman show. Merchandise was flying off the shelves and tickets were being sold for the highest possible price. Regarding viewership, the WNBA wasn't drawing large audiences. Caitlin Clark was the one they were watching. It was always a crowded house when she took the court. The following day, fans were purchasing her shirts as though they had disappeared. Everyone knew that Caitlin was a walking, talking revenue generator. The impact Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA this season has been very evident to a lot of people. On this channel, we have discussed it a great deal. She has increased the total number of watchers. Here's the worst part, though. Even though she was earning a lot of money, her annual salary was a pitiful $70,000. Yes, you read correctly. $70,000 they gave the player who alone propelled the WNBA to unprecedented heights, what is hardly considered professional sports lunch money. While Caitlin herself was earning less than some mascots out there, the league was making a ton of money because of her. She was the primary attraction, the person who people came for, and the name on everyone's merchandise, so this wasn't simply about selling tickets. After giving her some money, the WNBA ended the day. However, when you're talking so much about, I think it was a lost chance because of all these other athletes who are entering, but you're not mentioning Caitlin or setting aside the millions of money that would be required to bring her into your league. It wasn't limited to the court either. Her skin tone was also drawing attention to her. She was playing in what felt like a war, that's correct. And the WNBA abandoned her rather than helping its best star. In the meantime, Unrivaled is stating unequivocally that they will not tolerate any of that bullshit in addition to promising safety. Without having to worry about taking hits or avoiding discrimination simply to play, Caitlin will experience the encouraging, non-judgmental atmosphere she has never experienced in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark was expected to use the WNBA as her big break and a platform to showcase her skills to a national audience. Rather, it literally became a battlefield. After just 1 season, Caitlin went from being the league's most promising new player to being a prime target who took a lot of hits. This is more than simply rough play. This seemed nearly personal and was essentially a brawl. Her opponents appeared determined to thwart her in any way they could from the first game, even though they knew they would likely get away with it. The list is endless, yet there have been numerous athletes, coaches, and media figures who have been reluctant to acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is the only reason why so many of these events have occurred in the WNBA this season. Let's discuss the event that everyone remembers, Reese Angel. That Angel Reese indeed. Reese went straight for Caitlin's head during one of the season's most intense bouts. There is no room for nuance or holding back when we speak. Everyone witnessed her slapping Caitlin across the face, the cameras, the audience, and the commentators. However, the referees, suddenly they lost their vision. Nothing, no whistle, no foul. Caitlin was obviously disoriented, but she had to just shake it off and move on. The playoff horror that followed was the final straw for the supporters. Caitlin received a vicious eye poke, not a gentle tap, but a blow severe enough to cause her to lose her composure and run the risk of suffering significant harm. The referees simply shrugged once again. No foul, no response, as if Caitlin didn't require protection because she was an invisible player. Have you seen it? No one goes for a ball like this and then lets their hand fall like this. Isn't that right? You would expect her to do this or poke out like this as you go to block the ball. How will you approach the ball in this manner? Have your hand fall and strike it in the eye. Deliberate. What does Caitlin do now that she has all of this? At last, she reaches her breaking point. She hits the stanchion in exasperation during one of those high-stress, stressful times. Suddenly, the referee's vision is flawless. As though they had been anticipating this, they call a foul on her. It seems that venting her annoyance on a piece of equipment was a warning sign, but her being stabbed in the eye or shattered in the face, it's okay. Go ahead and play. This was no isolated incident. The pattern persisted throughout the season. The double standard was right in front of the fans, and they couldn't ignore it. While her opponents appeared to have unrestricted access to her, Caitlin was supposed to play by a single set of rules. However, it wasn't just the referees that made a mistake in this instance. The league itself said absolutely nothing about it. Consider it. The WNBA hardly gave Caitlin a nod each time she was knocked down. She appeared to be just another gamer, as if she hadn't brought them record-breaking attendance and ticket sales on her own. The league wouldn't even acknowledge it if she got up, got over it, and continued. Were they concerned, or did they release a statement following that playoff eye poke that clearly impacted her vision? Not at all. Everything went according to plan. Don't say anything. I hope she recovers and acts as if nothing occurred. This is where Unrivaled is useful. This is a serious league. They have been observing Caitlin's experiences and are emphasizing that they take player safety seriously. They take a very different tack. Real regulations that shield gamers rather than allowing them to be physically assaulted with no repercussions. If a player sustains a significant injury, they don't simply send in a trainer. Real proactive medical support is there and ready to go as soon as something goes wrong. Instead than patching people up and hoping for the best, we're talking about immediate high-level care. However, it will be intriguing to observe how well this league does, how much these ladies are compensated, and whether any serious injuries occur. However, Unrivaled is considering what occurs following an injury, which is likely a novel idea for the WNBA. After taking hit after hit, Caitlin was barely able to acquire an ice pack from them. Unrivaled, however, goes beyond simple solutions. Players are receiving comprehensive post-injury support. They provide care, keep an eye on their recuperation, and make sure they're prepared to play safely rather than forcing them out onto the court as soon as they can stand. Taping them up and telling them to go for it isn't enough. Before players ever consider returning to the game, they want them to feel completely ready, strong, and confident. There is more than just the physical assault. In her debut season, Caitlin was drawing an average of 15,000 fans per game. Not only is that significant, it breaks records. It's obvious that Caitlin was on a different level when you contrast it with the league's average of 7,300 spectators each game the previous season. She was causing a frenzy, not simply filling seats. Not only were those 15,000 fans silent, but they were also boisterous, devoted, and fully engaged. They didn't go empty-handed, however they came to clap, chant, and wave signs bearing her name. Fans were snatching up any piece of Caitlin merchandise they could find, purchasing her jerseys before retailers could replenish their inventory. Angel and Alyssa had a different perspective, but Caitlin was setting records. They made charges rather than acknowledging the enormous lift Caitlin was providing the league. They called the new, diversified group of fans Caitlin was bringing in racist. Yes, some of the WNBA's own players were accusing the very people who were investing their time, money, and energy in the league of being bigoted. It was about portraying her fans as outsiders, as if they didn't belong, rather than Caitlin's talent or her revolutionary influence on the league. However, in the Unrivaled, players are commended for their skill, and there is no room for such physicality-based allegations. The WNBA will therefore experience severe panic as a result of the offer.